Hello everybody, my name's Sydney and I'm a third year vet student. So a few days ago I made a video of my top 5 favorite classes from first year, and I figured I'd follow it up by talking about my 5 least favorite classes from first year now. So per usual, if you see me looking down, my laptop's down here. So the first class that I have on my list, and probably my least favorite class all of first year and almost maybe entirety of vet school, was microanatomy / histology. At the University of Missouri, we call it microanatomy, or at least we did while I was a first year. But I know a lot of other schools call it histology. So I really struggled in this class and I didn't do very well. I think that plays a part of why I disliked it so much. It was just an extremely difficult class. You were looking at like tiny little things and then being told to tell them apart, and they all looked very similar. So I really struggled with it. And then on top of that, I didn't feel like a real doctor while I was doing it. I don't know, it's just something about like, looking at microscopic tissues and stuff that I was like, I don't feel real. And I am not saying that's not part, because like pathologists do that. It is part of being a real doctor, but for me, it just didn't feel like something that I saw myself doing. And so therefore it wasn't something that I was like, oh, I feel like a real doctor. So I think those, one, it just being really hard and me not doing well, and then 2, I just didn't feel personally like it was super applicable to what I want to do. I think those played a big part in me disliking the class so much. So my second class that I have is physiology. So I really enjoyed renal physiology, and part of that was because the professor, actually all of that was because of the professor. I loved him a lot. However, cardio phys made me hate my life, hate vet school. It like just completely wrecked me. Think that's the worst I've ever done on an exam in my whole entire life, because I got a solid 50% on that exam. So yeah, cardio phys was like a point for me where I just said, I hate physiology, and it kind of just stuck. So yeah, physiology takes spot number 2 on this list. By the way, these are ranked from least favorite to still least favorite, but not the most least favorite. So the third one that I have on my list is large animal anatomy. I debated on whether or not to put this on the list because I loved parts of it, but I also hated parts of it. The thing that I hated the most was the arteries, nerves, and veins and the legs for large animal. All of those kind of like would run together and then they'd branch off. A lot of them had very similar names. It'd be like metacarpal 2, metacarpal 3, and it just was like really hard to get those down and get the branching patterns down, especially because a lot of them like looked the same or were in like basically the same exact spot. I don't know. For me, that was really difficult to get down, and therefore I hated that part. Also, the final for large animal anatomy was horrible, but not gonna get into that too much. There was just like 10 different questions over the talus, each one being like, what attaches to this side? What attaches to this side? What attaches to this side? And it was horrific. I walked in, there was people like crying in the bathroom. I walked into the lab, I just saw all the talus and I was like, oh no. So it was not a good final. The fourth class that I have on this list is endocrinology. It was kind of difficult at first to learn, and on top of that, I also found it just like really dull and boring. It took 2 other classes that I had in my second year to like really get the endocrinology part understood and drilled into me. So it was clinical pathology and companion animal medicine where the endocrinology aspect like really started to make sense for me. So I think it's that it wasn't so much that it was difficult, and the reason that I didn't like it, because I thought ClinPath was kind of difficult too, but I still really enjoyed it. I think it was more so that I just found it like so boring. So boring. And then the last class that I had for my 5 least favorite classes of first year was cell biology. Personally, I loved the professor, loved him so much. He's the same professor that taught renal physiology. However, I just found the cell biology topic kind of boring as well. My boyfriend loves cell biology, so to each their own. But for me personally, it just wasn't something that I was like, wow, this is so cool. It's kind of like, well, I have to learn it, I guess, just to get it out of the way. So I think that's my top 5 least favorite classes of first year of vet school. I hope that if you're going into your first year of vet school, that all of these classes that I've mentioned go better for you than they did for me. I hope that you find them all enjoyable and that you do well in them and have a strong interest and liking for them. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and goodbye.